Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. I'm Zach Byard, and here are the latest news headlines at 3:30. Residents in Surrey's Newton neighborhood are in shock after two teens, aged 16 and 18, were shot and killed in a parking garage on Mother's Day. Our reporter Jenna Ali has an update.
The integrated homicide team took over the investigation on Monday. In a news release, Surrey Police Services believes the shooting is connected to the Lower Mainland gang conflict and was targeted. Residents in the area say the violence has left many feeling unsafe in what they describe as a family-oriented area.
It's just kind of horrifying to see that, because just like in our neighborhood, there's just so many children and a lot of families, and it's just kind of traumatizing to see a dead body in like a very family-friendly community place.
Police also say a burning vehicle was found hours later by Enver Creek Secondary and is believed to be connected to the shooting. No arrests have been made. Jana Ali, BCIT News.
The shooting was one of two incidents Sunday, with a second shooting taking place at 152nd Street and 72nd Avenue. The company behind the learning software Canvas has made an agreement with hackers that stole personal student data. AP correspondent Mike Hempen explains.
Data stolen from an education platform is deleted in a deal with hackers. The company that operates the online learning system Canvas says it has reached a deal with hackers to delete the data they stole in a cyber attack last week that created chaos for many students. Instructure, the parent company of Canvas, hasn't provided any details of the deal, including whether a payment was involved. A hacking group named Shiny Hunters claimed responsibility for the breach. The data has been returned to Instructure, but the company says there is no way to know whether the data was erased for good. I'm Mike Hempen.
Canvas is used by both SFU and UBC. The two universities have since shut down access to the service while they assess safety. BC Nurses Union has voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike. The union announced today that 98.2% of the 50,000 voters supported job action, the strongest strike mandate in its history. Canadian press reporter Terry Theodore has more.
Union President Adrian Geer says 6 months of talks with the employer have been frustrating, with just 4 proposals of 140 presented being accepted, and one was about a spelling mistake. She says violence in the workplace, crushing workloads, and benefits are all issues, yet her members aren't being offered the same as other public sector unions.
Nurses are a critical part of the healthcare system. Why should we accept less?
Geer says the vote doesn't mean they'll go on strike tomorrow, but indicates the 55,000 members are united to get a fair contract. Terry Theodore, The Canadian Press, Vancouver.
Geer says that the union is willing to come back to the table, but that this vote signals a last chance. The long-awaited Oak Ridge Park Mall is opening in 2 weeks. The 20-acre mall on the southwest corner of Cambie and 49th Ave has been under construction since 2018. It will boast 50,000 square feet of leasable retail space, a rooftop public park, and some of the tallest towers in all of British Columbia. 2,000 free parking stalls will be available. The mall is also served by the Oak Ridge 41st Canada Line station and the R4 Rapid Bus. It is set to open at 11 a.m. on May 28th. The BCIT Student Association is having an animal exhibition tomorrow at SC2 for students and staff. Our reporter June Bravo shares why it's important for students to need events like this.
Students say that events like these help to relieve stress, especially during practicum or exams. With the animal exhibition in place tomorrow, BCIT's event organizers are already working on next year's occasions. Kirk Iverson, an event manager for BCIT Student Association, explains that school is stressful and students need these events to unwind.
For these events in particular, it's an acknowledgement that BCIT is stressful and you do need distractions, healthy distractions to sort of break that up.
Iverson also shares that having a different way to engage with the school's community is important to the post-secondary experience. June Bravo, BCIT News.
As a reminder, the event begins tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In provincial news, a fire ban happened earlier than usual this year. The provincial government explained what has been banned. Garrett Rosehill has more.
It's an annual tradition for forest fires to occur in BC. Park rangers and fire prevention advocates are doing their best to mitigate fires in commonly affected areas in the province. But there are still areas of BC that are at risk of forest fires but are not as reachable. Many fires could occur deep in the forest with no nearby roads. Greg Gerard in the Disaster Preparedness Department of UBC gives his thoughts.
The other truth is that the fuel load across the province in areas that have not burned recently is enormous, and the temperatures are very, very high, and so it's not going to take much.
It is important to spread the word of fire safety to family and friends. Garrett Rosel, BCIT News.
The fire ban will be lifted on October 31st unless rescinded earlier. 6 Kamloops schools are closed today as a water main breakage still leaves parts of the city without water. Crews responded to a main valve failure last weekend in the east side of Kamloops. The city asked residents to conserve water, but then it escalated into a water main break by Monday. 8,000 homes now remain without water as the city continues their work. Non-potable water is available to affected residents at certain locations. Joe Louison, Civic Operations Assistant with the City of Kamloops, says he hopes it can be repaired by the end of today. In international news, a new hantavirus case has been reported in a passenger of MV Honduras cruise ship. The Spanish passenger was in quarantine at a military hospital when they tested positive. This now brings the total reported hantavirus cases to 11. Of the 11 cases, only 9 have been confirmed. The Director General of the World Health Organization says that the disease has not spread beyond passengers and crew of the cruise ship. He adds that they learned from COVID-19 in containing the outbreak. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says a military drone deal between Ukraine and Canada is being prepared. Canadian press reporter Dylan Robertson has more.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says in a social media video that his country could have a significant expansion of security cooperation with Canada through a drone deal. Ukraine is already in talks with 20 countries to work on advanced drone technology that Ukraine has refined since Russia's full-scale invasion 4 years ago. Last August, the Defense Departments for Canada and Ukraine signed a letter of intent to co-produce defense materials. But Canadian officials testified last November that there was little progress in Canadian firms working in Ukraine for drone manufacturing out of safety concerns for their staff and investments. Dylan Robertson, The Canadian Press, Ottawa.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine is still ongoing. Waymo is recalling 3,800 driverless cars after a robotaxi drove through a flooded road. The incident happened in April and occurred when no one was in the vehicle. The company identified that there was a risk of similar future incidents and issued a recall. The robotaxis will only need a software update to fix the problem, according to Waymo. In entertainment news, an Atlanta man pleads guilty to accusations of stealing unreleased Beyoncé music. 41-year-old Kelvin Evans was arrested last August following a car break-in. Evans was charged with theft on January 7th, at first pleading not guilty. He entered the guilty plea today, just 2 days after jury selection began. Atlanta police have not recovered the items. And in Burnaby's weather, sun and clouds at 20 degrees. There's a 60% chance of showers this afternoon. Today's high is 20 and low is 12. And those are your news headlines at 3:30. I'm Zach Byard. You're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
For many artists in Vancouver, adapting creatively can become part of sustaining a long-term career. BCIT's Lauren Masamba spoke with local musician and illustrator Coco Bean about how a layoff pushed him toward publishing his first children's book.
Vancouver musician and illustrator Coco Bean says being laid off from work last year pushed him to rethink how he approached his creative career. Known locally for his involvement in music projects like Latchkey 90s and Sunday Brunch Boys, Bean recently released his first illustrated children's book, Breakfast for Dinner, a 72-page collection of rhyming stories inspired by birthday songs he created for his son. Bean says this project became a new creative outlet during a period of uncertainty.
And those were your news headlines at 3:30. I'm Zach Byard. You're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning, BCIT The Crow, the listeners. My name is Dena Tingala, and the time is now 3:40. For the next 5 minutes, I'll be updating you on all things sports. Today, we are saying goodbye to many important faces in the NBA. Vancouver-born NBA player Brandon Clark has tragically passed away at the age of 29. Clark was drafted 21st overall in 2019 and played his entire career with the Memphis Grizzlies. He was the longest tenured current Grizzly. In his career, the power forward averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds. He was last seen on the court on December 20th against the Washington Wizards and has since then rolled out of the season with a grade 2 right calf strain. We are also saying goodbye to NBA veteran Jason Collins. He has died at 47 years old after a battle with stage 4 glioblastoma. Collins was the first active, openly gay player in NBA history. The Montreal Victoire and the Minnesota Frost will try again tonight. The Victoire will host the Frost at Place Bell. The winner-take-all Game 5 was postponed yesterday due to safety concerns related to an unspecified illness on the Montreal side. The two-time defending champions are now a perfect 5-0 in elimination games over the last 3 seasons, and Montreal looks to advance to the finals for the first time in franchise history. Puck drop is at 4 p.m. Big night for Montreal hockey fans. The Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo Sabres go head-to-head tonight for a Game 4 at the Bell Center. Montreal has won 2 straight in the series, and now we are seeing some lineup changes from the Sabres. Luke Shen is coming in for Logan Stanley, Ryan McLeod is centering the 4th line, and Sabres prospect Konsta Helenius is expected to make his playoff debut. He says he is going to play his own game.
I'm just happy that I can play, and I'm gonna show that I can help the team win and play my own game. Fresh legs, I haven't been playing, so fresh legs, and I don't play my own game, so I don't play a lot with the puck and play hard.
The Professional Women's Hockey League is expanding to Detroit. Reporter Darius Filati has more on how Motor City will host the league's 9th team.
The PWHL hosted 2 games in Detroit last season as a part of their Takeover Tour series. Little Caesars Arena saw more than 30,000 fans over the 2 matchups. Now, the league is expanding to Detroit full-time starting next season. Vancouver Golden Knights defenseman Nina Jobst-Smith says the league is happy to contribute to the bigger movement of growth in women's sports.
The PWHL is on a really good trend, and women's sports in general are part of a huge movement right now. And I think me and many others in the league, all of us are just looking forward to what we can be able to do to continue to push that momentum.
Detroit will also host this year's PWHL Awards and Draft in June. Darius Filati, BCIT News.
In a crucial tied series Game 4, John Tortorella announced today that the Vegas Golden Knights captain Mark Stone will not play tonight. Stone exited Game 3 with an undisclosed injury and missed the entire second and third period. Puck drop for that game is at 6:30 tonight. Sticking with the NHL, John Manson of the Colorado Avalanche has been fined $5,000 for butt-ending Minnesota Wild's Michael McCarron. Another punishment has also been given by NHL player safety. Boston Bruins' Charlie McAvoy has been suspended for 6 regular games after slashing Buffalo Sabres' Zach Benson during Game 6 of the first round. Tell a friend of a friend that he's back. Sidney Crosby has been added to Team Canada's roster, ready to represent the red and white again. Celebrini was awarded captaincy on Sunday morning. However, if Celebrini keeps the C, this will be the first time Crosby hasn't been the captain of a team he's played on since he scored the golden goal in 2010. Another roster update is that Matthew Barzal of the New York Islanders will miss the competition due to a minor pre-existing injury. BC Place is getting some upgrades and renovation in advance for the FIFA World Cup. These upgrades will include accessibility improvements, new hospitality spaces, upgraded technology, and a hybrid grass pitch. That's all the sports headlines from me. This has been Dena Tingala for BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane.